Welcome back to Teshkid FX for another price prediction update, and in this video I'll be giving you a price prediction update on Vechain, whose current price stands at the $0.02325 mark, and here on TradingView the market is up by 1.71%. And in this video I want to give you the key scenarios that I expect to play out, basing my analysis on the Elliot waves and the Fibonacci's, and also the key areas of support and resistances, and also draw out any key chart pattern that you have information on this chart. And I'll kickstart the video by giving a brief of what has been happening here on the Vechain chart. Vechain from the all-time high has been seeing lower prices in this massive ABC corrective movement, which has now taken us back to around the $0.02 mark. And starting my analysis here on the daily chart, after making our low down there, we saw a very nice bounce to the upper side, managing to break above key areas of resistances, but at the key area of resistance at around the $0.03362 mark, we got rejected, and we are seeing a massive pullback to the lower side. Jumping to the 4-hour chart for further analysis. Here on the 4-hour chart, after making our low down there, we saw a very nice bounce to the upper side in a movement that I was terming as an Elliot wave structure, having that as the first wave to the upper side, then a wave 2, a wave 3, then I expected the formation of a wave 4, then continue pushing higher in the formation of a wave 5 to complete a higher Elliot wave count 1, but that movement to the upper side got invalidated the moment our wave 4 over here retraced into the high of that first wave, and having done so I had to remove this Elliot wave structure from my charts and view this movement to the upper side as something else. And the only way we can view that as is just an ABC corrective movement that was correcting that impulsive movement that gave us a low at around the $0.02 mark. And having seen the formation of an ABC corrective movement, whatever I expect next on this other side is the formation of a 5-wave structure to the lower side, and I believe that is what we are seeing here on the Vechain chart, having this as the first wave to the lower side, then a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then a wave 5, giving us a low at around the $0.02121 mark. And having seen the formation of this fractal wave that we can see over here, we can now name that as a higher Elliot wave count 1 to the lower side. And starting with the long-term scenarios that can play out here on the Vechain chart, I'll be basing my analysis on the Elliot waves, and having seen the formation of a higher Elliot wave count 1, whatever we expect next is the formation of a higher Elliot wave count 2, which is a corrective wave, and for this case it would be a movement to the upper side. And to get a minimum retracement area to the upper side in the formation of a wave 2, I just need to use the Fibonacci's, connecting them from the high of that wave 1 to the low of that wave 1 down here, and that gives me a minimum retracement area to the upper side in the formation of a wave 2 between the fib level 0.618 and the fib level 0.382, and I can mark that target area here on the charts like that, then remove the Fibonacci's, and you can see that my target area lies between the $0.029 mark and the $0.026 mark. So that is the minimum that I would expect that bounce to the upper side in the formation of that wave 2 to get us into. And there's a possibility that the low for that first wave down here was in at around the $0.02121 mark, and very soon we are going to see a massive pump to the upper side here on the Vechain chart. And that for that to happen, I also expect to see an increase in volume here on the Vechain chart, and also a bull movement in the whole crypto market like what is happening right now. So there is a possibility we might continue pushing higher, manage to break above the key area of resistance at around the $0.024 mark, manage to see a successful retest of that key area of resistance, and then continue pushing higher to get us into that target area. And in that movement, because it's a corrective wave, I will also expect to see an ABC corrective movement play out maybe on the lower time frames. I would expect such a movement on the lower time frames to get us into that target area. And once we maximize the formation of a higher Elliot wave count 2, then we can expect a movement to the lower side in the formation of a higher Elliot wave count 3, and that means that the low for Vechain might not yet be in, and in the formation of a wave 3 to the lower side we might be getting a new low here on the Vechain chart. And once we see that movement, then we can start sketching out movements to the upper side, maybe taking us back to an all-time high. But for now, the low might not yet be in. We have to have that in mind, and we can also invalidate that movement to the lower side to give us new lows in case our wave 2 over here manages to break above the key area of resistance at around the $0.029 mark, see a successful retest of that key area of resistance, and even continue pushing higher, and also manage to break above a fib level, the fib level 0.78 fib level. And using the Fibonacci's, you can see that the fib level 0.786 fib level lies at around the $0.03128 mark. So in case we manage to break above that key area of on the Fibonacci, there is a possibility that we might be able to invalidate that movement to the lower side in that 5-wave structure to the lower side. Also zooming in on this chart, we have a chart pattern that is in formation, which is a head and shoulders pattern, and if I draw it out, we can have this as the left shoulder of that head and shoulders pattern. Then we have seen the head right there, then we have seen the formation of the neckline, then the right shoulder, then we have continued pushing low after the formation of the right shoulder, and we are in much of a consolidation right here after the formation of that right shoulder, and we have not yet seen a breakout out of this head and shoulders pattern. And this is a pattern that normally breaks to the lower side, having the target area of that breakout as the height between the head and the neckline. So using a trend line, we can get that height between the head and the neckline, then place it down here to give us a minimum target area to the lower side back to around the $0.00177 mark. So there is a possibility once we see a breakout out of this consolidation, manage to lose that key area of support at around the $0.02 mark, then the worst case scenario for Vechain could be playing out and could take us back to around the $0.01 mark. So let's be patient and see how that plays out, whether we are going to invalidate this head and shoulders pattern in case we continue pushing higher in the formation of our wave 2. And getting to the short-term scenarios that can play out, that I'll be basing it on this consolidation that we can see right here. And within this consolidation, you can see we have been trading within this channel, and this was an ascending channel, and we managed to break out of the channel to the lower side. We even saw a retest of the lower side of the channel in this movement right here, having that as the retest. And after the retest was a success, we continued pushing even lower, but we found support at around the $0.02151 mark, which gave us support, and now we are seeing a very nice bounce to the upper side. So there is a possibility that we might continue pushing higher, manage to break above the key area of resistance at around the $0.024 mark. And in this movement right here, we have also seen the formation of another chart pattern, which is a double bottom, having this impulsive movement giving us the first low. Then we saw a very nice bounce to the upper side, forming the neckline. Then we saw another movement to the lower side, forming the second bottom. Then we have continued to see a bit of a pump to the upper side, forming and we are almost touching the neckline of that double bottom. And this is a pattern that normally breaks to the upper side, having the target area of that breakout as the height between the neckline and the bottoms. So using a trend line once more, we can get the height between the head, the neckline and the bottoms, then place it up here to give us a minimum target area to the upper side back to around the $0.02492 mark. So there is a possibility very soon we are going to see a breakout out of this double bottom that I have drawn out here on this chart. And once that plays out, I would expect us to get back to around the $0.024 mark. And from there, once we see a successful retest of that key area of resistance, we can continue pushing even higher. So let's be patient and see how that plays out. Also taking a look at the indicators to see what movements will be supported here on the RSI. On the 4-hour RSI, we are trading at around the 64 mark, meaning we have massive to support any movement to the upper side once we break out of that head and that double bottom that I have drawn out on the charts. Also taking a look at the MACD. Here on the MACD, we have printed a bullish cross, and that would mean higher prices could be coming our way. So any movements to the upper side will still be supported. And that's all for this video.